If you're not consistently saving $100 or $1,000 every month, it's probably a budgeting problem. So to fix that, in this video, I ranked every budgeting app so that you can decide. Can I help you?
You just said every budgeting app. So like ever?
Well, no, not like ever.
Exactly. I've seen this once. So you found 4 or 5 apps. One's the best, one's the worst, fewer in the middle.
We're actually ranking a lot more than that. Who are you again?
So the title should be, I ranked every budget app that I found, but not all of them.
A little long-winded. So we're reviewing 23 budgeting apps, and they cover the whole spectrum from pricey and overrated to free and amazing. And for any of them to make it into this video, except for a couple, they need at least 3,000 reviews on the Apple Store and a minimum of 4.5 out of 5 stars. So does that work for you? Hello?
23 is way too many.
Okay.
Do you even play that guitar?
All right, if you wouldn't mind, please. At $15 per month or $100 for a year, Monarch Money is a full-service budgeting app. It has strong day-to-day budgeting features and also incorporates investments into a larger financial health snapshot. It excels in automated expense tracking and simplifies that process. Whether you use the app or the desktop version, I love that all that information is just so readily available at your fingertips. Toggling between various categories of financial health is simple, from tracking net worth to standard budgeting to managing bills and subscriptions. It's all right there. If that snapshot's just too much information, you can pare it down however you want. This customization also extends to creating new spending categories that aren't already built in. And if you want to get wild, you can label them with emojis or whatever you want to do. It's also easy to share your finances with a partner or financial advisor, something we'll see other apps struggle with later on. Everybody gets their own unique username and password and will have access to the household expenses. The biggest con is going to revolve around that price point. $100 a year is a lot. Also, I've read that some banking institutions don't pair nicely with Monarch, to include Amex. Amex's personal savings seems super glitchy, and the same goes for Citibank, US Bank, and Northrop Grumman Credit Union. Now, Monarch doesn't offer any credit monitoring. For $15 a month, I don't think that's an unreasonable ask. And another shortcoming is its lack of support for cryptocurrencies. It does link with Coinbase, but that's about it. Overall, super powerful budgeting app, which is echoed in the App Store with over 16,000 reviews and an average score of 4.9 out of 5. No matter how much you give people, they'll always want more, but even at $100 a year, I think this app does a fantastic job of giving you a holistic perspective of your financial health. Moving on, and before I make people angry with this next app, just a couple more notes about this video, but if you'd rather plow on, just jump ahead to this timestamp. Apps needed to have 3 things to be in this video. First, it has to be a budget app for individuals, not businesses. If it represents itself as a bill organizer, subscription manager, credit rebuilder, investment automator, net worth tracker, cut. And 2, I already mentioned the ratings and reviews, but there is one app that has less than 500 ratings and is phenomenal. And finally, I discovered that some apps have a ton of ratings, high reviews, and say that they're for budgeting, but upon further inspection, they're like credit rebuilding or loan apps. A lot of people were actually using the app's cash advance services. And when I dug into them more, things got messy. They're cut. Final rankings are based on functionality. Does it do what I need it to do? Is the user interface simple to use and easy to navigate? And price versus value. Is the app worth the price? Most, but not all these apps are available on Android. This video is not sponsored. I'll try to give our next app a fair shake. Coming in at over 63,000 ratings, 4.7 stars, and a fan base in the millions is Mr. Dave Ramsey's EveryDollar app. It's a zero-based budgeting app that by design requires both hands on the wheel at all times. Every dollar gets a job and every job gets scrutinized. So the app is easy to set up and it'll be quickly up and running. It offers group coaching, which is quite unique, and it opens straight up to the front page and has a nice clean interface that comes with a lot of customization for categories and subcategories. If you're a Ramsey acolyte, it integrates with Ramsey Baby Steps. I don't know what that means, but clearly a lot of people have benefited from it.
Baby steps.
Now, the requirement to input every single expense is important to help you get your spending back on track, but just speaking for myself, at some point I would want to transition to a little more automation. I like to use credit cards as much as humanly possible, but they're not really in the Ramsey program. And I've seen a lot of issues with people trying to connect their Amex to the app. But even then, you still have to drag and drop categorizing all those expenses. It just becomes very labor intensive. When balancing price with features, a premium price should get premium features. For the price of this app, it's just too basic. For $80 a year, I want more features and options that are in line with other apps at that same price point. For me, This is like a $40 app at most. And at the risk of the Ramsey faithful descending upon me with great vengeance and
furious anger,
this app just feels a little predatory. Ramsey has a huge following and people will do whatever he says because he says it. So when he steers his fans who are just trying to become financially stable to an app that costs 80 bucks a year, I don't like it. Sure, there's a free version, but it's barely usable. I get it, Ramsey Industries is in the business of making money. Don't fault them for that. Feel free to light me up in the comments, but due to this app's high price, cons we've already discussed, and the relationship between the guru and his followers, this app falls way down the list. However, if zero-based budgeting is your jam, this next app is a great alternative. You Need to Budget comes with all sorts of bells and whistles. The user interface and design is slick and easy to navigate. You can share your subscription with up to 5 people so an entire household can participate in the budgeting experience. It'll also compile all your historical spending to show you trends and habits, and then how those habits evolve and change over time. Despite the slick user interface, getting the whole thing set up initially can be overwhelming and discouraging. The downside of that hands-on approach is it's hands-on all the time. Then there's the price. But even at $100, I still think this app over delivers. But if that price tag is too much to stomach, I get it. So here are 3 more contestants that are less expensive, more simple, and kind of off the beaten path. Weple has a friendly interface, simple features. There's some customization there. You basically just categorize all your money into expenses and income. If you can tolerate the ad pop-ups, the free version will probably do the trick, but for an extra $7, you can say bye to the ads, get a little more flexibility. This is just a decent middle-of-the-road app. Another clean interface with simple features that help you just keep track of where your money's going is Expenses OK. I found it pretty intuitive, and you just input your expenses as you go throughout the day and it pops it out into a chart for you. There's some customization available, but similar to Weple, it's not going to track long-term expenses or investments or anything like that. Its goal is to just help you be more conscientious about where your money's being spent. As the name suggests, it only tracks expenses, so it's missing the entire other half of a budget, the income. If you want to track income as well, fairly important in budgeting, it'll cost you $2. So still $5 less than Weple, and you get everything basically Weple has to offer. It's a no-frills money tracking, a level up. Speaking of tracking, then there's Spending Tracker. And before you tune out, because this app doesn't have a cheeky name, it's got some attention on the App Store. Spending Tracker is less bubbly, more business. With Spending Tracker, you just input your income and then deduct expenses as you go. Simple as that. In the free version, you add expenses, and if you want a few extra features, you can watch ads. Apparently in German. I need to fix my VPN. But for expense tracking, it's much more of a steak knife than a Swiss Army knife. The free version will suffice for most, and it just gives you plenty of trial time to figure out the nuances and if you like it. Customization is pleasing. It's got dark mode, it's got some font changes, swap out the icons if you're feeling fancy. You can get a good handle on your spending just with the free version. For $2.99, you get a little more whiz bang, and you don't have to watch crowds file their tax returns. It syncs to Dropbox, so you can see it on your phone or iPad. It exports to Excel. You can set up multiple accounts. It has alerts. As I played around with the app, I liked how comprehensive it was, but it also embraced its own limitations. This app's great for anybody just trying to get a sense of where their money goes. It earns its spot near the top. Our next app's powered by Quicken and aims to simplify money management and let you keep track of your finances without much effort. I'd also submit Quicken didn't want to put too much effort into it either. For starters, couldn't even take a look at the UI without handing over my email and password. Off to a bad start. Also, I couldn't find if there was a free trial because subscription starts at purchase. You get charged for a year and can cancel anytime before renewal, but you get charged on day 1. Unknown if you get any of your money back. It just seemed kind of slimy, so I bailed. In my opinion, if you're confident in your product, you're going to let people take it for a spin around the block. Nonetheless, let's hit some of the pros before I lean into this anymore. It's relatively inexpensive, supposedly outputs a whole lot of data, and if you're a Quicken aficionado, perhaps you'll like this app. At the end of the day, it meets the minimum standard of getting the job done, but I just found the whole experience unfriendly. Quicken's position seems to be, we want your full blind commitment. For the same $36 a year, I'd rather spend that money on just about any other app. For me, there are plenty of better options out there. Not a surprise it only has 4.2 stars. Rocket Money tell me you can do better. So first screen, create an account. All right, let's pick some categories. Let's say, I don't know, just straight up retirement. Can never start planning too soon. Name, check. Email, Learn me and Rocket Money. About me? Well, I like long walks on the beach. How do I manage money? Go with my gut. Oh, Tate, 650 credit. I'd hang out with somebody named Tate. Jordan, canceled the Audible, finished all the books. Seth with a late fee refund. Wonder if he knows. Wish I could send him the screenshot. Maybe we'll just hang here. Anderson canceled CBS. Frees up funds for Audible. All right, I gotta bring my heart rate down after all that excitement. Moving on, you can't go past this screen without immediately linking a checking account. Minus 10 points. Let's just go premium. Looks like I can decide what I want to pay. Since I'm not running a budget app charity, bare minimum. All right, premium, what you got? Oh, got a link. All right, well, I'll spare you the boring details, and it just seems like Rocket Money really wants to help me cancel subscriptions. It's kind of like, oh, you want a budget too? Well, sure, yeah, we'll find a guy for that. Makes you activate your net worth, like unnecessary step, just show me. Long story short, gave up on trying to figure out the budget stuff. Don't like it, not intuitive. All I know is I want to hang out with Tate, and this app goes right in the trash with Simplifi. Let's find some winners. So we have a plot twist coming up, and we're going to pick up the pace. These next 4 all have at least a 2-week trial or just a straight free version. And if you're sick and tired of monthly subscriptions like Anderson and Jordan, they all offer a one-time purchase for life. Fleur is the least expensive at about 10 bucks, or you can just stick with the free version. Just a heads up, while researching this app, I got a 60% discount, but I've also seen that discount up to 80%. They all end up at $9.99, so just mentally prepare yourself for that savings windfall. It'll be 10 bucks. Fleur doesn't link to any bank accounts. It's all manual entry, so you'll feel every expense, and you can only do recurring expenses and income if you go premium. It has simple budgeting features that help you break down your money coming in or going out into a nice little pie chart or bar graph. The paid version gives you a bit more customization with its features and swirly fonts. This is a solid middle-of-the-road app. For budget spending tracker, let's just dive right in and sign up for the free trial. Add some rent expenses, paycheck, quick glance around the UI. What's a credit card feature? Bank of China. So this might be operator error, but I shouldn't owe the same as my credit card limit. Frustrations mounting, just trying to pack too much into this $9 app. Do less, keep it simple, know who you are, not a fan. This app can hang out with Ramsey. All right, WalletApp, surely you won't be added to our bottom row, right? With WalletApp, you have the option of adding bank accounts, or you can do all manual. Plenty of customization in different categories to meet most people's needs. If you don't want to link all your accounts, step 1 will be to input all those amounts separately because each expense gets mapped to a specific account. It does recurring expenses, but not in the free version. I've seen reports that this app drops credit card links or occasionally messes up those transactions. If you're a Venmo user, I heard those transactions aren't labeled, which could create confusion in your budgeting. This app is for simple budgets. It's at best a so-so first budget app. 22 bucks a year I feel is a little bit overpriced. It's not really designed to get into the nitty-gritty of your budgeting. It's just kind of like an overview of what's going on in your life financially. The app's only about a year old, so I'd give it another year to round out its corners, and until then it falls a little flat, goes in the C tier. So there I was minding my own business on Daily Budget Original and Pro, just tinkering around, and then I saw this. New. Today's Budget Money Tracker. Looks pretty slick, has less than 300 ratings, but I'm intrigued. Let's give it a spin. As the name would suggest, it's a day-to-day budget tracker. You enter how much money you have, then you track how much you spend. Novel concept. There's a bunch of popular pre-categorized spending buckets, and as you enter your expenses, it breaks it down into how much that is per day. Customizable, share with a partner. It deliberately stays away from linking with your bank account and tells you that up front. There's Apple Watch capability, and it's easy to do recurring expenses. Just a simple, clean, intuitive interface. Basic budgeting made easy. Pleasant surprise. Download it on like a Saturday morning, spend the weekend getting to know it, and then starting Monday through Friday, track all your expenses. I think you'll really enjoy this app. And if you don't, cancel on Friday, no harm, no foul. This app deserves a spot on the top row. Well done running our software. We needed that win. Next up, we have 3 apps. 2 are free and 2 are made for budget share. 2 plus 2 is...
Hey, math wizard.
Oh, hey, thought you left.
Yeah, I just want to say I watched the video. It's not the worst I've ever seen, so I subscribed and hit the like button.
Is that supposed to be a compliment?
This is when you say thank you.
You couldn't have liked and subscribed. It's not done.
I'm from the future.
Yeah. So how do the Padres do this year? NerdWallet has a ton of ratings and a solid star count, so people seem to love this thing. Let's see how it stacks up. It says it's free, but there is a cost, and that cost is your email and phone number. If you're not paying for the merchandise, you are the merchandise. I'm always weary of free things that want to be my friend, which is why I'd prefer just to pay for my friends. So once you're in, looks like it pushes you right to a credit check, skip, and a bank account link, skip. Then another credit score push, car insurance offer, zero budgeting so far, more product offerings. Join for 49 bucks. This is why it's free. So the only way to budget with this app is by linking all your bank accounts. If you decide to link up all your accounts, get your credit score, NerdWallet will provide you a month-by-month cash flow, general net worth, and credit score rating through TransUnion. There are some basic customization tweaks you can make, but the automated categorization by NerdWallet is just so-so. Very retrospective, and it's tough to use it to plan for the future. But in this video, we're on the hunt for the best budgeting apps. NerdWallet doesn't cut the mustard, so it can hang with that WalletApp. The next free app is called Honeydew, and it's designed specifically for budget sharing. It's tailored for couples who want to integrate their finances. Nearly every feature of the app, income, expenses, balances, can be filtered into a joint or individual view. You can connect to various accounts and then specify if this is an individual account or joint account. You can comment and react to individual purchases, and you can also hide specific transactions from your partner, which seems to defeat the purpose of transparency and accountability. The downside is you got to battle those ads because it's free. If you're not keen to share your budgeting with somebody else, there's plenty of other apps that won't distract with the jointness of the endeavor. Staying on track to save for specific goals can be difficult because there's not a native feature in the app to do so. You need to set savings aside as a line item. And finally, it's a little clunky. Some of the features you'd want most in a budgeting app, such as transactions or splitting expenses, are found under the More button, so it's just some extra friction to get that done. This would sit near the top of the list if I was ranking partner budget apps, but I think its partner heavy focus detracts from its ability to help people budget effectively, so it slips down the list. And the last contestant in this trifecta is DollarBird Pro. It's another finance sharing app. It doesn't link to any bank accounts, and it tracks spending more by calendar than by category, which is outside the norm. Now, while Honeydew is geared towards partners, this seems more geared towards teams. Seems a little more geared for business expenses and invoice deadlines. And as I dug into it more, it seemed to just be an expense tracking app. I couldn't find a budget setting capability. Let me know in the comments if I've short shrifted this app, but I don't want to waste anyone else's time figuring out how this budgeting app doesn't budget. In the meantime, let's slide back up the price scale, see if any of these other budgeting apps deliver. So it's spelled Oportun, but we're calling it Oportun because that sounds better. Full name on the App Store is Oportun, save, borrow, budget, meet money goals effortlessly. I tried to pop in and take a look for myself, but it gave me the Heisman. What I gather from other websites is that the app uses automation to help you save and invest. It strikes me more as an investing app than a budgeting app, even though Forbes put it in their best budget apps list. So the way it helps you save money is by automatically transferring money from the account that you link into your new savings account in the Oportun bank. The platform is then designed to suggest ETFs for you to invest in based on your goals and risk tolerance. You then use the money that you've saved, aka transferred into the Oportun bank, to invest in those funds. Now you tell me if this is a pro or a con, but the app decides how much and how often to transfer money from your own account into your Oportun account. Sounds good if it's like the only way you'll ever save money by this app making you do it, but otherwise, sounds like conflict of interest. It doesn't notify you when it transfers money, and you can't directly move money from savings to investing. Then there's no override or customization for the amount or scheduling of that transfer of money into your Oportun account. I thought it was a budgeting app, but it seems a lot more like a forced saving / investment app. For 60 bucks a year, I don't like how you don't have any control over how much money the app siphons out of your account. Bottom shelf. Next up is Pocket Guard. If your primary goal is to pay off a student or car loan, maybe credit card debt, Pocket Guard will set a schedule for you so you'll know how much you need to save and pay off that debt in order for it to be paid off by a date of your choosing. Then it'll help tweak your budget so you can make those monthly payments. This is another app that does bill negotiation, so it partners with BillShark just like Mint did, and as your subscriptions come up for renewal, it will negotiate on your behalf. Now, like most of the apps here, the free version is limited, but Pocket Guard's free version seems more limited than most. It only gives you 2 categories for your budget. You can't manually add transactions, so without the premium plan, unless you link it to a bank account, it's pretty useless. You'll also need the paid version if you want to create custom categories or spread a transaction across multiple categories. Paid version will cost you about 13 bucks a month or 75 for the year. The subscription negotiation feature is definitely built into that price and pushes it higher than what it would be if it was just a normal budgeting app. It has some interesting features, but in my opinion, just as a budgeting app, it's mediocre at best. So YNAB and Ramsey use zero-based budgeting. GoodBudget uses the envelope system. Obviously, digital envelopes in the app that you use to achieve financial goals. Similar idea to zero-based budgeting, you just allocate your income to specific purposes. It does not link to any of your accounts, so all your inputs are manual. The free version is nearly the same as the paid version with just some minor restrictions. You can register a household and sync across multiple devices. And the envelope system is initially easier to set up and understand just to get up and running than YNAB. It doesn't offer holistic financial health perspective, it's just a budgeting app. Overall simple, effective, it will help you develop and stick to a budget. Price versus value checks out, GoodBudget's good. So our next buddy here just has straightforward budgeting options. Income minus expenses. It even throws in that subscription management through BillShark. The interface was just super pleasant to use. If you want more automation, you can get the paid version for about 50 bucks a year. It also comes with a 7-day free trial. It has bank connectivity and gives a near real-time view of those transactions. It's also super easy to share budgets. The cons here though are that there's not a whole lot of cons. So I guess that's a pro. I did hear that sometimes bank connectivity drops, so I mean, that's pretty nitpicky. If it had more robust investment tracking or a credit score capability, this would be top shelf. But nonetheless, I think the price is super fair for what you get, and it's firmly near the top. These next two we're gonna pit head to head, even though their price points aren't all that similar. Mobills can link to your accounts for easier data entry, and it's also more customizable. But is that worth an extra 24 bucks? It'll depend how hands-on or off you prefer to be. It seems more of a tracking app that added the budget feature as an afterthought. As the name suggests, it's great at tracking bills. Monefy has a pretty appealing UI, but beyond that, it is no frills. It's income minus expenses. Both of them are simple to use and both intended for equally simple, basic budgeting. Really nothing spectacular jumped out to me with either of these. They're both middle of the road, basic budgeting apps that get the job done. Spendee, on the other hand, has everything you'd want to keep and maintain an everyday budget. Definitely doesn't have all the bells and whistles of a premium budgeting app, but if you're just looking for a great day-to-day money in, money out, where does it go? Look no further. I even accidentally was able to bring the price down by declining the initial premium offer, so keep that in mind if you like this app. The interface is simple and eye-pleasing. The wallet inside the app can be shared, and you can enable alerts and reminders so you don't blow through a credit card deadline or bill payment. One of the cons is that this can be pretty buggy if you use an Android, and it doesn't sync with all bank accounts, but you can go in and take a look to see if your bank account is syncable before you sync your money in. And then with the nice simplicity though, we also give up some customization. So if you want to tweak and change every little thing, you won't be able to do that with this app. That aside, Spendee isn't trying to do it all, and what it commits to, it does great. I think it's worth more than 23 bucks a year. In my opinion, it over-delivers and is a great addition to the A-list tier, which brings us to our last app before we pick an overall winner. This app I'm personally using, I paid for it, and I'm loving it. I'm actually using two apps at the moment. I'll explain that in a minute, but neither of them I was aware of before I began all the research of these apps. They just both jumped out to me, signed up for them. So the app I'm currently using that I find pretty darn amazing is EveryDollar. No, it's Copilot. Copilot's been a breeze to set up. You link all your accounts. The onboarding process is simple. I don't have an Apple Card, but Copilot can link to Apple Cards as well. And the first thing you notice is it's just such a clean interface. All the information is right there at your fingertips. It's almost fun to use, but it's also super powerful. I had Copilot up on my laptop, then in a separate window went into my bank account, transferred money just from one account to another in the same bank, went back to Copilot, hit refresh, it was updated. It learns your recurring expenses, anticipates them, and then factors them into your budget. I like all that automation. There's no way I'm gonna manually input every expense. I got a life to live. Customization seems almost limitless. Never mind like colors and emojis, it does all that stuff too, but if you have an expense that you wanna recategorize, just click on it, you recategorize it or create a new category for it, Copilot will then scrub all similar transactions, recategorize them, and you're moving on. So the budgeting, Copilot creates an overall budget for you that you can go into, and there's subcomponents of the budgeting. So you'll have a rent budget or a car, shopping, dining budgets. All of those are different and feed into the main budget. There's just so many user-friendly features of Copilot that I could dig into here, which the same could be said for the other app that I'm concurrently using, which we saw at the beginning of this video, and is Monarch. If you'd like to see a side-by-side comparison of the two, let me know in the comments. Right now, I'm fleshing them both out to see which one is best for my budgeting purposes. And right now they're neck and neck. Copilot isn't flawless though. One of the biggest cons is just its availability. Right now it's only available on Apple stuff and only available in the US, but you can go to the Copilot website and vote for your country. I think right now our friendly neighbors to the north are in the lead. Also that price, 13 bucks a month, 95 bucks for the year. It's not nothing. It does come with a 1-month free trial. If you want a 2-month free trial, you can use the link in the description. Again, I don't make any commission if you use that. For me, it's a no-brainer putting Copilot on the top shelf, but there can only be one top dog. So which app's the ultimate winner here? It's the same app that you use to lose 10 pounds, which is the same one that you use to learn French, to sleep better, to stay organized, to learn how to play the guitar, to run faster. It's the one that you'll use regularly and consistently to build your budget and stick to it. I hope this video has helped cut through some of the noise and gotten you closer to saving more money every month. Thanks for watching.